Good morning, children. Welcome back to the lesson Yvonne's Tries an O Level, written by Colin Dexter. Dear children, we had a session on this yesterday, and we discussed in detail about the characters. We have a few characters, and the main character is James Roderick Evans, and he is known as Evans the Break because 3 times he already escaped from the prison. So this is the 4th time he may try to escape. That's why the prison authority, especially the governor, was very particular that he should appear for the examination with the high security. So all precautions are taken by the prison, the governor, in consultation with the secretary of the examination. Finally, the exam was fixed in the cell where Evans used to live in. Okay. And at 8:30 p.m. on Monday, 7 June, Evans' German teacher shook him by the hand in the heavily guarded recreational block just across from the wing. And he also wished good luck to Evans, but there was least chance for him to get through according to his tuition teacher. But Evans wanted to give a surprise to everybody. So what way the surprise is not known to anyone. Okay, then came the Jackson and Stephen. Jackson is the senior, just opposite I told you, JS. Jackson is the senior prison officer, whereas Stephen is the junior who was just recruited to the profession. Okay, and before the examination, Evans was given all such directions, including that he should have a clean shave. Okay, for that purpose, a razor was given to him, and Jackson instructed the junior fellow, that means Stephen, to take away the razor once the work is over. And but Evans complained that he lost his nail scissors and nail file. Actually, they were taken away from him. Otherwise, he would use it as a weapon to escape from the prison. Okay. So finally, Jackson said that these are all orders from the governor. So who was silent then? Evans was silent. There we stopped, I think. Okay, children. Now we are at page number 73. Okay, we are at page number 73, the last part. Now all of you take your textbook. Yeah. Evans shrugged his shoulder lightly. The crisis was over. Actually, according to him, the crisis was over. You have got half an hour to smarten yourself up, Evans, and that bloody hat off. So immediately Jackson said that you have to, that Evans has to remove his hat, bloody hat. Oh, me at her. Evans put his right hand lovingly on top of the filthy woolen and smiled sadly. Do you know, Mr. Jackson, it is the only thing that's ever brought me any sort of luck in my life, kind of a lucky charm. So what did he say about his hat? That he said it was a lucky charm, if you know that I mean, and today I thought, well, with me, exam and all that. So he said because of that hat only he got all the luck in his life. So he wanted to wear it on the day of examination. So that way, who was convinced? Jackson was convinced. Otherwise, he would have asked him to remove it compulsorily. Okay, children, there is some mystery with the hat that you will come to know at the end of the text. So please make it a note. I am not going to spoil your suspense and surprise. Buried somewhere in Jackson was a tiny core of compassion that Evans knew it. And Evans actually knew Jackson's behavior, that Jackson had a tiny core of compassion somewhere in the heart, though he was very hard person. Okay. Just this time, this once then Shirley temple, if there was one, he's taking a pledge in the name of the temple, please allow him to use that cap. If there was one thing that Jackson genuinely loathed, means disliked about Evans, it was his long wavy hair and get shaving. Two things that Jackson did not like, one is his long hair, the other one that he doesn't make a shaving properly. At 8:45 in the same morning, the Reverend Stuart McClary, say you note down this character. Now we are getting another character. Who is this character, you know, children? This is the invigilator arranged, okay, to conduct the examination. So he left his bachelor flat. Actually, flat cannot be bachelor, but that McClary, the parson, the Reverend Parson, Mr. McClary is a bachelor. That's why it is transferred epithet. Bachelor flat in Broad Street, and stepped out briskly towards Carfax. The weatherman reported temperature considerably below the normal for early June, and a long black overcoat and a shallow crowned clerical hat provided welcome protection from the steady drizzle which had set in half an hour earlier, than which now spattered the thick lens of his glass. Nothing to say. Actually, there was a prediction about rain, and before the prediction, half an hour before the prediction, it started drizzling. You know what is drizzling? When it rains, it's called drizzle. Slight rain is called drizzling. Okay. So it happened, and his spectacle got wet. In his right hand, he was carrying a small brown suitcase. All of you should note on what are the things carried by that McClary to that prison cell. One is the brown suitcase, which contained all that he would need for his morning duty, including a sealed question paper. Next thing you can write down, mark, underline, sealed question paper, envelope, a yellow invigilation form, a special authentication card from examination board, a paper knife. Okay, what is it meant for? Maybe to cut something. A Bible. Okay, another thing. You please make a note. You know how to make notes, dear children. Make a note of the things that is carried by person. Bible. He was to speak to the woman's guide that afternoon on the Book of Ruth, and a current copy of Church Times, a magazine, Church Times. Bible. Why he is holding the Bible? Because he has to refer a chapter on Book of Truth from that, because he had to give a speech on that. Okay, children. Now you understood what are the things carried by the person. The 2-hour examination was scheduled to start at 9:15 a.m. So what time the exam would start? 9:15. Ivan was lathering his face vigorously when Stephen brought in 2 small square tables and set them opposite each other in the narrow space between the bunk, means bed. Already we have come across the word bunk. Bed on the one side of the other distempered stone wall. Actually, in his cell, 2 tables are brought. For what purpose, you know? For taking the examination and for him to write the examination. So what was Evans doing then? He was lathering his face, applying that soap on his face in order to shave. Okay, next Stephen brought in 2 hard chairs. 2 table, 2. One is for him, one is for the invigilator. Table also, one for him, one for the invigilator. The slightly less battered means old. Battered means old, of which he placed in front of the table which stood nearer the cell door. Okay. This, because it is a very old chair and it was kept near the door, cell door. Jackson put in a brief final appearance. Behave yourself, laddie. So Jackson finally came and uttered, okay, Mr. Evans, laddie means the boy, behave properly, okay, because an outsider is coming. Evans turned and nodded. And these Jackson pointed to the pin-ups. Okay, what is pin-ups, you know? All of you can write down. Pin-up is a picture of an attractive person, especially pictures of naked woman. Pin-ups, you can see boys are very fond of keeping such photos sometimes. Okay, so here also Evans also is very much interested to keep such photo, very interesting photos. So actually that is not a good thing at the time of examination. Okay, so that pin-up should be, okay, Pin-ups. Okay. Picture of an attractive person. That's all you write. Evans turned and nodded again. I was going to take them down anyway. A minister, isn't he? The chap coming to sit in. I mean, hey, why are you removing that pin-ups? Anyway, he is not a minister. And how did you know that? And he said, he is not a minister. Then how could you know that person who is coming? Asked Jackson quietly. This also you can underline. There is some mystery in this dialogue. Okay, this is a suspense story. Well, I had to sign some forms, didn't I? And I couldn't help. Okay, actually, while signing, I came to know about the persons and his detail. He once drew the razor carefully down his left cheek and left a neat swath in the white leather. Can I ask you something, Mr. Jackson? Why did they have to bug me in this cell? Actually, he was shaving his face. Now, suddenly one idea struck his mind and he asked Mr. Jackson why the authority had to bug. Bug means to fix with a secret listening apparatus. For example, recorder. To keep a recorder, in short. Okay. So that everything will be recorded. All dialogues will be recorded. That is one of the precautions or safety measures that the governor wanted to ensure. That means to bug me in this cell. He nodded his head vaguely, means unclearly, to a point above the door. There is something fixed. There is a camera. For example, now we have CCTV cameras, closed circuit TVs. Okay. So like that, an apparatus, an instrument is kept for recording. Not a very neat job, considered Jackson. Okay, it is not that good actually, because everything will be recorded. Who agreed? Jackson considered, agreed. They are not. They don't honestly think I am going to try to. They are thinking that I am going to escape from the prison. They are taking no chance. Once nobody in his sense would take any chance with you, because already the person has escaped 3 times. So nobody wanted to take any chance with the Evans. Who is going to listen in? Okay, anyway, who is going to listen in the dialogues? I will tell you who is going to listen in, laddie. Mr. Boy, Mr. Evans, I am going to tell you, it is the governor himself. And who wanted to listen to the dialogues that are going to happen in the D wing of the cell? Governor. He don't trust you. Actually, he doesn't trust you a bloody inch, and nor do I. Not only the governor, nor I, nor Jackson. He will be watching him like a hawk. Okay, no? Eagle, hawk. Even so, keep your nose clean, means you have to behave properly. Clear. He walked towards the door. Okay. Jackson said, okay, not only the governor, but he himself would be very careful about his movements. Evans nodded. Yes, agreed. He shook his head. He would already thought of that, and number 2 kerchiefs was lying ready on the bunk, a neatly folded square of white linen. Actually, number 2 kerchief is there. Okay. Kerchief was kept on his bunk. White linen, made of white linen. Just one more thing, Einstein. Yeah, what's that? Good luck, old son. Actually, Jackson is a very soft person in the core of the heart, when he wanted to wish the boy good luck. Okay. In the little lodge just inside the parson's main gate, the Reverend S. McClary signed his name neatly in the visitor's book. So now who is coming inside the cell now? That McClary coming to conduct the examination. So he reached the gate and signed his name and detail in that book, visitor's book. In Navodaya also you have a visitor book. When your parents come to a campus, the chowkidar will get it done in that book. And there walked side by side with a silent prison officer across the exercise yard to D wing, where he was greeted by Jackson. The wing's heavy outer door was unlocked and locked behind them, the heavy inner door the same, and McClary was handed into Stephen's keeping. Now finally McClary is brought to Stephen. Okay. Get the razor, murmured Jackson. Hey, get the razor, remove. Stephen nodded. Well, keep your eyes skinned, means very close, clear. Stephen nodded again, and McClary, his feet clanging. Yeah, up the iron stairs, followed his new guide, and finally stood before a cell door where Stephen opened the peephole and looked through. That's him, sir. So there is a peephole, okay? In your classroom also, when the main door will have a peephole, what is the purpose of that peephole? So that principal can see whether class are going on without disturbing the class. So that is the real purpose of keeping a peephole in Navodaya Vidyalaya doors. Like that, here in the cell also there is a peephole, so that without disturbing the inmates of a cell or prison, the prison authorities can peep through that, okay, and look through. That's him, sir. He once facing the door sat quietly at the farther of the two tables, his whole attention riveted, fixed to a textbook of elementary German grammar. Stephen took the key from its ring and the cell lock sprang back with a thudded metallic pang sound. Actually, finally, the cell door was opened now. So, dear children, now we will stop here. I hope we could discuss more detail about the story now. And before we conclude for the day, let us make an immediate review of what you have learned. Okay. Actually, today we started with Yvonne studying of himself for the examination, and by the way, he requests Mr. Jackson to leave the cap, because cap is a lucky charm for him, because that would bring him good luck. Okay. Then again, this man, McClary, the new person, Reverend Stuart McClary, as an invigilator, has started his journey from his flat at 8:45. And what are the things carried by that Reverend McClary? His suitcase, Bible, then that paper knife, and the church times. These are things that he carried, okay. And the exam is fixed for 2 hours starting from 9:15. And by the way, two tables and two chairs were arranged in the cell, one for Yvonne and one for the invigilator, okay. And by the way, there were some pin-ups in the near his bunk, near his bed, and Jackson wanted to remove it, but suddenly he said, anyway, the person who is coming is not a minister. Then Jackson had a doubt why he told that way. Then he said, by the time of signing the papers, he came to know that he was not a minister. And finally, the razor was removed secretly, okay. And nobody want to take any chance with Yvonne. That's why his room is bugged. Bugged means fixed with a apparatus, recording apparatus, and governor himself would be attending to that. Not only that, Jackson also does not want to take any chance with Yvonne, because he escaped 3 times from the Yvonne escaped from the prison 3 times, okay. And finally, Mr. McClary reached the prison, and he entered his name and detail in the visitors book, and he was brought to that cell by Stephen, and there's a peephole. Through that he introduced Evans to him, and finally the door of the cell opened. So dear children, now read, all of you read thoroughly, because it is very lengthy lesson. We will go slow, there is no hurry, okay. Hurry makes worry, and okay, so we should be very clear with the concepts, and this will be the last chapter for you, I think, because CBSE has reduced the syllabus as per revised syllabus. I think this is the last chapter. So before the vacation start for me, I mean, this will be completed. So that's all, children. Have a nice day ahead.